to become hyperbolic and go through and become a bunch of election deniers. Because apparently when the right does it, it's against terms of service on YouTube. But when the left does it, it's A-okay. But guys, yes, the left has come out and have said that they think that Trump has rigged the election. And their proof from this is a genius who has access to satellites and real-time data apparently was able to predict the election better than the mainstream media. Which, by the way, I was also able to do. So I guess I'm a genius now too, I suppose. But yeah, I literally said, I was saying right before Trump's win that it was going to be 305 to 315, and I believe he got 312.
Tulsi and J.
But this is their proof for Trump rigging the election in 2024.
I was texting people like Tulsi and J.D. Vance. I was getting a different apparently, Elon created an app, and he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So
now, I just want to say, too, the mainstream media was very slow on dragging out and not announcing the winner. So I was actually in Discord with one of the ferrets, technical ferrets, and I said to him probably half an hour to an hour before the mainstream media started to call it that Trump had won. And then like places like Fox and stuff called it even like then, but then like CNN like didn't call it for another day or so. Like there was some people that were calling it really late. So just because you knew 4 hours before and like the mainstream media called it, doesn't mean you rigged the election.
As the results were,
it just means you're able to read the room.
Coming in before 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me Elon was like, "I'm leaving. It's over. Donald won." He just fucking somehow or another.
I'm gonna go back into my pod and evaporate.
I don't know what he's getting, where he's pulling his data from, but he had like the most accurate data in terms of the rural states hadn't put their results in yet, but yet Trump was ahead in these states. Kamala's never going to win those states, so tabulated that and like put it all together. I don't know how he did it.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now.
So I believe Alex is going to break this down. We'll probably watch this for a bit. Yeah, if you ever want like a king of bad takes, Bill Maher.
Am I going to worry about it? First of all, I'm not going to worry about it, Phil, because he's not going to win.
So you think he's just worn it out? You think people are just going to get fatigued?
Enough. I feel
category fatigue.
I mean, it's just going to be. We're talking about a few 100,000 people, perhaps. But
hang on. Sorry, had you.
I think it's going to be a little closer than that. First of all, she's definitely going to win the popular vote, as Democrats almost always do now. But I think she will win. I think he will, of course, go batshit insane, as he always does. He won't accept it.
Actually, it's the left that hasn't accepted it.
His followers, I think, will. I don't think their heart will really be in it.
That's actually pretty true for some of the Democrats, but
as it was in 2020. Some of them, there's lots of people who will always be in the bunker with Mrs. Goebbels taking the poison and giving the poison to the children because it's better than living in a world without National Socialism. I make an analogy, but I don't say he's a Nazi.
Yeah, you used that analogy, right?
But I think...
If I make an analogy about communism and you being communism or communist, does it still count?
For most people, it's just fatigue. Yes, I think it's time.
That didn't happen, did it? So apparently Biden and Kamala have been spotted together for the first time. What's happening with the body language? Wow. He just looks sickly, doesn't he? He just looks sickly. Look at her face. Like, look at the disdain on her face when he coughs. Like, she is furious. Furious anger will poison and attempt to destroy my brother. Look at the disdain on her face.
Left turn.
And also, if you're at a funeral or a parade or some sort of event, do some frigging marching lessons, God's sake. So yeah, I don't think that relationship is not going anywhere. But yeah. And then, of course, Katie Griffith has said that she's not leaving. Of course she's not. Never thought she was going to leave in the first place. And, of course, obviously...
I got into the laws because I wanted to fight for justice. And I've never been more terrified than...
Oh, that's the Australian Misinformation Bill. So... What else have we got? We got anything else? The left is still having a frigging meltdown, but, you know... Oh, what's going on here? But yeah, like I said, the left has gone through and claiming that because Elon had this app that he had made, that he had gone through and somehow he had known
people
what was happening, and that was proof that the election was rigged.
Saw the clip Friday in the Theo Vaughn interview, and he talked to Dana White, who was there at Mar-a-Lago with Trump at his table, and Elon, and he said Elon pulled out an app and said 2 hours before it was announced, Trump's the winner, I'm going to bed. Or I'm going to go do something else. I'm leaving.
I think it was 4 hours, but yeah.
Because Elon doesn't waste time. And people spun it and said, oh my God, Elon uses satellites to break in and steal it and all this crap with no proof. Because they don't even know what he was looking at. Yeah, the app is called, and there's a bunch of them, projections. Because I know. Owen is a app. He's got a brain and a calculator. We announced over 2 hours before he was the winner, before anybody else, because when Pennsylvania and Georgia and other states were at 95% or more of the votes counted, and it's trending up for Trump to win those states, you can do the calculation and see that Harris isn't going to jump from 40-something% of the vote to 60 or whatever she would need, depending on the number, to make up that gap. So unless there was massive fraud and they said, we're closing for the night, we're not tabulating like 2020, and then they go magically bring in stuff, and then 80% of the ballots are for Kamala, like you saw in the graphs where Trump's here and Biden's here, and then they close the tabulation but really keep going, and then bloop, it goes up. They couldn't do that because people were there and watching. They tried to bring in the trucks full of them. They openly showed it, but they're like, oh God, the cops are here, the media's here, we can't do it because we were watching. And so that's how we did that, because with 95, 96% reporting in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, and other key states, we said, Owen said, we ought to put this together in a report because it's very newsworthy and important. Okay, unless they close it and then sneak in ballots, he's won. So Trump needs to declare victory right now. That was it, like.
Yeah, and that's basically what it was, guys. It was apps. It was projection apps. That's all it was. It's not hard, especially with AI these days. It's really, really not hard, especially if you run an AI company. Like, for example, Glock. You could actually go through and quite easily make these apps. But the left is now becoming a bunch of election deniers. Let's see if we can find a couple of videos of them denying the election.
Don't think there won't be denialism if Kamala Harris loses too.
Yeah, that's pretty true, actually. There's a video I saw.
Not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is. But
good morning. My name's Anthony. I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland. And I would like to say that the Republicans always push these false narratives. The Republican Party is no longer grounded in truth. There is no election fraud. There is no election interference. Those are deliberate narratives created by the Trump to rig the election and tip the scales in their favor. What is really going on?
So that was back in 2020, and now the same people are the ones claiming that's fraud. I was trying to find, there was a girl that was, she's going somewhat mega viral because she's sitting there saying it's my time to deny the election now.
I don't know. I'm looking at my watch and Donald Trump. We're all seeing these Trump supporters brag and gloat about Donald Trump winning the election. If you have MAGA family members and friends, they're probably rubbing it in your face right now. But here's the thing. There's going to be a moment of reckoning for these Trump supporters because everything's about to get more expensive because of Donald Trump. Trump said that as soon as he takes the office, he's going to be implementing a 10 to 20% tariff on everything coming into the United States. So
yeah, we've had this before, bro. It didn't work out then too. I'm trying to find it. Just saw it before, but I didn't get a chance to retweet it. Oh wow.
See, we're outside of the.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a big question too. Like, what happens if you get blood transfers and you're not vaxxed? No, can't find it. There's some chick that she's going viral for saying it's my turn to deny the elections now, and completely missing the point. But yeah, like I said, it was interesting that up until for years after the 2020 election, it was against the terms of service on social media to deny the election. It's weird that. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
No, there's absolutely doesn't.
Right.
You gotta be fucking sucking my dick right now. There's absolutely no way that you're... I'm an election denier. I am now going to be a fucking election denier. You cannot convince me that many people that fucking hate Donald Trump, that piece of shit motherfucker, there's no way that he got the popular vote, he got the fucking House and the Senate and the presidency. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It really doesn't. You gotta...
So the same people that were calling us conspiracy theories for denying an election are now also denying the election themselves. It's weird. If it wasn't for double standards, some girls wouldn't have standards at all. But guys, yeah, at the end of the day, the left is now joining the election denier Trump train and basically going through... I friggin' forgot to retweet it again, didn't I? Hang on. I forgot to retweet it again. But like I said, yeah, at the end of the day, they're now jumping aboard the whole let's deny the election. It's weird. It seems like people only deny the election when they lose. And you know, Trump's team's not, the Republicans aren't any different for this. The only difference is that, you know, we'll admit it. And to be honest, I think there's a lot more when it comes to the 2020 election. I would say there's probably more to be questioned about than it would be to the spanking that just happened. And that's why it had to be. It wasn't allowed to be close. That's why it had to be a big swing, because we knew that if it was close, they were going to try and break out the whole election denier thing. And I think at the end of the day, the reason that we haven't seen a lot of it today is just because of the fact that it wasn't so close. Here she is here. Retweet and post. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was just. I think it was just the fact that it's not close is the reason why we haven't seen a lot of it. But guys, let me know your thoughts in that comment section below. The left is now become election deniers. Have a great night. Enjoy yourself, everybody, and enjoy the shit show that is Twitter.